everyone. Okay, so immediately this episode adds a new wrinkle to the problem, which is that on top of the kids being led away with Gunko's powers, there's also a defense mechanism built in where spectral thorns attack anyone who tries to save the kids, courtesy of Summers. And for as much as I may hate the God Knights and everything they represent, I do gotta give them their flowers. They came prepared for every contingency, and it's like it's when you look at this plan as a whole, where you understand why Shamrock called on Killingham and Summer specifically as their set of skills, when combined with Gunko's, really create the near perfect capture strategy. As Saul got skewered the moment he tried to save the kids, so it's like, in what circumstance are you supposed to even be able to stop this? Like, obviously there's the whole thing of like the sea and hockey and whatnot, since a lot of these are devil fruit powers, but still it's like you kind of have to think, how exactly are you going to save the kids? And again, ultimately it is going to come back to hockey for sure, but it's like, yeah, it's this plan is so meticulously this plan is so meticulously crafted that it's like it's near perfect, really, when you look at it. Anyone who doesn't have hockey is kind of fucked in any attempt they make to save the kids. And as I said last week, we basically see that all of Loki's threats were just him kind of blustering in an effort to be free before he collapses, followed by us getting a bit of a glimpse into the past of both Harudin and Loki being raised by Harold, and the hopes and expectations he had for his sons of ruling Elbaf side by side, which Harold was definitely an optimist. I'll give him that, because it's definitely that whole idea. It definitely did not come to pass given present circumstances, but it is kind of interesting how that animosity still did bubble to the surface even in their childhood, even before Harold was killed. On so it's definitely more than Harold's death that has caused Harding this animosity towards Loki, and he definitely has to sort through some personal problems beyond just like Loki killing Harold. That as and because as we learn, like Harding and Loki might both be children of Harold, but Harding, unlike Loki, is a bastard son and was mocked endlessly for it. So it's like, yeah, Harding has some kind of personal demons he has to work through with Loki for sure. Of course, obviously, because even though Harding, he obviously rose above it, but those scars, they definitely linger. Of course, it's also in this moment where we see Loki kind of wake up and drop a bit of a cryptic but revealing question to Harding, which is, "Don't tell me even you think I purposefully killed our father, do you?" And there it is, the reveal that changes the whole dynamic of what we know, and the whole dynamic in game of what we know of what happened to Harold, and it begs the question of like, what really happened all those years ago. I mean, granted, we definitely have a lot to work off of, because the appearance of the God Knights already plants the seeds that something fishy happened with Harold, and the government was definitely involved. Like, they definitely had their sticky fingers in the whole affair. But the circumstances and the details are still a little vague. Although you can also bet that Emu was probably a little more directly involved in what happened with Harold. The whole dynamic of the government and the Giants has always been, we need them for like that the government needs the Giants for basically military purposes. That's pretty much the only ever use that the government has ever seen the Giants having. So it's like, yeah, they definitely saw, and what we see of Harold, he was definitely more of a peacekeeper. So you can tell that Harold's idealism definitely stood in the way of the government's of the government continuously wanting to use the giants as military fodder, pretty much, or fodder as a military asset, pretty much. Uh, Now, in saying that, if I did have a critique with this episode, and it's more of an observation at this point, it's that once again, this episode only adapts one chapter, and the reason why that's an issue is that from this point onward, it's going to be a slow burn to getting to the flashback of where it all began. Like this episode adapted, I believe it was chapter 1143, and the full story of like Harald, Loki, and Haradin isn't going to start until around chapter 1152. And that's the biggest kick in the balls and cock tease for us, because if the rest of the first section of Elbaf keeps going down the one chapter per episode route it's going, then it's likely to cap things off until next year at chapter 1150. And for those who are anime-only viewers, just know you will be cussing out Toei to high heaven after episode 25 drops if this is the case, because chapter 1150 has a major turning point that's going to leave you blue-balled worse than every to be continued moment the series has had. I am not joking with you on that. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. Enjoy the video, like, comment, subscribe, following Blue Sky and Analyst, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of the Night signing off. Later, everyone.